What y'all listening to?
Limelight Highlight Podcast.
And we're back with another episode of the Limelight Highlight Podcast. As you heard, that's the new intro with all my friends on it. I have a special guest today, the person who actually opened up their home to us, Arod, or Alexis Rodriguez. She is in the Air Force. We're all the way in Okinawa, Japan, recording this podcast. And I'll let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about yourself.
I am Arod McNasty. I'm 25 years old, and I like turtles.
All right, turtles. There it is. We're actually, well, I don't know about Arod, but I'm pretty drunk.
No, I just got tatted.
King. Oh yeah, what tattoo did you just get?
I got I don't know how to explain it, a butterfly, but half of it is like a monarch butterfly, and the other half is flowers.
So it was like a Thanos snap.
Pretty much. Yeah, like it's slowly dying, I guess.
There you go. But it's a hibiscus and flowers.
Oh, yeah, hibiscus, and that's in color.
So the reason I wanted you to be on the podcast was because it's still March, although, what time is it right now?
We have like
no, it's like no, it's legit midnight. So,
okay,
I
so
guess the podcast is over.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. No, it's April 1st, in a sense.
So I guess the podcast isn't over. It's April Fool's Day.
Well, if you're listening to this in the States, then it's definitely before April 1st, which means
in the future.
Which means it's still Women's History Month. And another reason why I brought you on this podcast is because you are protecting and serving in the Air Force.
I am.
And you are fighting for our freedom.
5 years in 2 weeks.
Really? Already?
Yeah.
Damn.
Crazy.
So, one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on was to talk on your experience in the Marine Corps. I'm sorry.
Close.
It's
close.
It's not even a little bit close, but it's a very it's a habit of mine saying the Marine Corps, but in the Air Force.
Yeah.
So I know just being out and doing things of the nature of going out and drinking and having fun, partying. You know, we've all been here, and I spoke to you a little bit. I don't know if you remember because we were super hammered, but
oof, what?
every day. No, you know, I spoke to you about how you, Arlene, Precious, kind of have a group chat going on, speaking about, hey, I'm going to go out tonight, or I'm going on a date, or whatever the case is that you're going to go out by yourself. You kind of have this little support group with sharing your location, what you're specifically doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was speaking to Trixie on the previous podcast, speaking about how Keem and I, as men, we don't really think about stuff like that. We're not like, hey Keem, I'm gonna airdrop my location to make sure I don't get raped, because that's not going through our minds.
Definitely
you know.
didn't last night.
So, being in the military, I know. For the most part, the military is a very male-dominant area of employment.
Yes.
I guess you can say. So for women to get into that field, it's like a feeding frenzy for piranhas whenever somebody drops in a carcass.
Yes.
Everybody's all over the female because there's just nothing but testosterone going on. So I kind of wanted to ask you what your opinion is, or your outlook, kind of personal point of view on what it is you experience in the Air Force, being a woman in a male-dominant career.
Well, I am a maintainer, so it's like super duper male dominance, because I work on an aircraft, and, you know, mechanics you usually see as females. Oh, sorry, males. And right now I can tell you there are when I first got here, there was only 2 females in the shop, me included. And now I think there's 4 of us. It's hard at times, people like to think we're all prissy, want our nails done, blah, 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 typical stuff. I mean, sure, I would like that, but I definitely put my job first, and I have been told, actually, I'm one of the harder workers out there, but when I first got here, you got to kind of prove yourself that you are not just, like, you don't have to be considered, I guess. I don't know how to say the word. None of y'all gonna help me.
Word.
So, no. So it's like, I don't want them to think of me as just a girl, there you go. Yeah. That actually helps. Like, I'm soft.
A stereotypical woman.
Yeah. So you got to prove yourself.
You're a woman, hear your roar.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, people who are listening to those ad libs, that's Keem, Trixie, and Precious, and they're all sitting here while we're doing the podcast.
Yeah, I need help.
But okay, so I understand. So do you see anything improving as far as the number? Besides the numbers of women joining the Air Forces, but specifically to your job and field of work.
Anything I've got to think of. Oh my goodness, I have no memory, so I'm gonna try to think back when I first joined.
Well, you said the number's gone up as far as maintainers go.
Yeah, well, it's kind of. Oh yes, definitely. It's because the military just needs maintainers in general. Our bodies get old real quick. Yeah. Working on these aircraft. Yeah, I know you know. I keep smacking my teeth. This is bad.
No, it's all good. It's all good. We're having a conversation. So, okay, so let me see. Besides women, kind of, I know you said when you joined your squadron, it was only you and another woman. But before you, were there any other women?
Well, so that's here in Okinawa in general, because my first base, there was a couple of us, but we all were coming from our boot camp together basically. And then in Korea, first base was England. Korea, there was a couple of girls, same, well, about 6 of us, I believe. And then here was when it was just there was 3 girls. The one girl who was picking me up from the airport, but she left a week later, and then it was only me and another girl. And we're just, I don't know, we're basically the 2 leaders, and we have to try to show that we can do what they can do also.
Do you feel like more eyes are on you because you're a female, and is there more expectation from you than your subordinates or your counterparts?
I wanted to answer the first question. So I can give you. I'm gonna just tell a story real quick. So there was one time at work, I was told to do a job that I've never done before, but because I worked on the aircraft that I work on now, I worked on it before, they expect me to know a lot. But I told my supervisor, hey, I've never done this job before. I don't know what to do. And he's like, just read it. So I'm trying to look in our iPads, which tells us how to do our job, trying to figure out how to do this job. I cannot find a job. Telling him over and over, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I just kept telling him that. And eventually he got upset at me. And what made me mad the most is he didn't say this to my face. He told my troops, so 2 guys that are under me, who are younger than me in age, younger than me in rank, they're a year into the Air Force now, but this man who's been in plus 10 years went to my guys and said that I'm using the excuse that I'm a girl, that I cannot do the job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And then, I was heated that day. this guy, he's I don't know, he's something else. But when he told, oh my God, when he told my troops they love me, so they told me, and that's when I just kind of did my own thing, and I don't know, I didn't do anything he told me to do. That was me kind of fighting against him. And then eventually he pulled me into a room and was like, "Hey man, what happened out there?" Like went straight, tried to be nice to me, to my face, but he was talking crap behind my back. And I was like, "What do you mean what happened out there?" He's like, "I mean, you only did this." And I was like, "I told you multiple times I don't know what I'm doing. And yet you decided to leave me out on the spot to do a job I don't know." But yeah, so that was the first time anyone, I believe, has ever doubted my abilities, and I know I'm a good worker.
And do you think, compared to your male counterparts, he'd help more or get involved as far as hands-on more, rather than just let them figure it out? And then not only just that, but he wouldn't obviously pull your subordinates to the side and tell them, "Oh, she's using the fact that she's a woman as an excuse."
Well, this guy, he plays favorites in general, so I mean, I'm not one of them, and neither is the other girls. I don't know if that has to do with anything, but I know he does play favorites. Whether he helps them or not, I don't know. I don't know what was happening with him that day, but the fact that he did that, and it wasn't just my troops that he said that to. He told multiple people, like, I was basically coming up with the excuses to not do the job. And I mean, they all told me, and I don't know, I lost respect for that guy, which is why I'm happy that he's leaving soon.
It's funny because I spoke about this particular kind of realm of what's going on with you, with Trixie, in a previous podcast, about how you're expected to do either more or something else rather than your actual job description because you are a woman.
Yes.
And if you don't fulfill those specific tasks, people hold it against you. It's almost like a double standard.
Yes.
Because in reality, we all know that double standards exist, and a certain majority of people want to, in a sense, agree with those double standards versus going against the grain. They're very easily influenced, or they're quick to say, "Oh, it's because she's a woman," versus, "Oh, because she or he, doesn't matter what the sex is, doesn't know their job."
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's those things that kind of come under fire with all that. And disclaimer, I know your voice is cracking and stuff like that.
I was going to mention that at the end of the podcast because I just realized that I didn't even say it in the beginning.
It's all good. So for those of you who are just listening, we've done previous podcasts speaking about how we're in Japan. Arod McNasty out here has opened up her we call her Arod. She's Alexis Rodriguez. But she has opened up her beautiful home to 5 of us. Yeah. 6 including
6 total.
Her. Personality. 6 of us, so that we can sleep here, party here, do everything that we basically want here. And every day has been an adventure of drinking. She lost her voice in a battle of karaoke.
I also scraped my knee trying to slide.
Yeah.
You remember that we were singing Justin Timberlake?
We did a lot of
I wasn't
choreography. We did a lot of choreography. And so that's why her voice is cracking. And a lot of people's voice are actually cracking. Keem on another podcast is coughing a lot.
That was for a different reason.
So he says. Yeah. So anyway, we'll get back to this podcast. So once again, we just want to say thank you, Arod, for letting us for opening up your home. I know it ain't easy letting this many people up in this spot and taking us out every night, getting super wasted and stuff like that. But once again, the reason we're doing this podcast is because it's still Women's History Month, regardless if we're in Japan. What is it? America is a day behind. So we're still going to hang on to that. I don't know. I'll probably drop this like next week or something like that. It'll be past Women's History Month, but it'll still work. Anyway,